Hello again, Stephen.
Hi, Gary.
We're back for another round of our ServiceNow conversations. We got a docket today. 4 items on there to talk with people about. You want to go ahead and kick us off?
Yes. First one, developer definitions. Again, I am relatively new to the ServiceNow space, so I hear acronyms and words said all the time. I don't know if they're proper nouns or if they mean something really specific or if it is just a way of describing something. So I found this resource. It's called the Developer Definitions. It's here. I'm way down at the bottom of this page, but the Developer Glossary. I have found that it is really, really useful not only for developers, but also for people who are not developers. So yeah, if ever I hear a word or an acronym, tons of acronyms in ServiceNow. This is usually my first place to go look. I have this bookmarked and it's up pretty often on my computer.
Yeah, I did not know this resource existed, which I wish I did. There, in any community, there's language that brings people together. And, you always feel left out when people are talking about things and you're not exactly sure what they're talking about. When I first joined VividCharts, one of the terms that people used all the time was dot walking. Mm-hmm. And, the first thing I hear when people say that is dog walking, obviously.
Yeah.
But, in the JavaScript world, there's this thing, this term dot notation, which is used for JavaScript objects. So it kind of made sense to me, but it took a really long time to figure out exactly what people meant by dot walking.
Same.
However, it's used every day. Like, it's such a part of the culture.
Yep. So let's go see what it says here. Funnily enough, there's not a search interface on this for the glossary, but you can go to D, or we'll just use dot walking. Describes the structure of a variable that contains one or more reference fields separated by a dot for each table involved. Yeah. Gives an idea. It's still, you got to do it in the platform to really understand what it means. Yeah,
and again, in JavaScript world, once you use the dot notation to grab things out of objects. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it made sense once I figured it out. But boy, I sure heard dog walking forever when I first heard. And one of the more recent ones. So I've been, doing way more work inside of workspaces lately.
Got another one?
And yeah, I do have another one. And this one confused me recently because I was trying to wire up some data to a component in a workspace, and someone said I needed to create a data broker, and I didn't know what that meant. I was used to doing data resources. Yeah, it says right there. I wish I would have had this because it would have saved me a half hour of digging.
Oh, there you go. See data resource. We'll go there.
Yeah, so the data resource is what I was doing and what people told me I needed to do.
Yep.
I just didn't realize that a data broker meant data resource. Like, it's 2 terms that mean the same thing.
Yeah, a dynamic, reusable way of defining what data to fetch for a page's components.
Yep.
And so specifically for the UI builder. Yep.
Yeah, and so that I understood, but when they said data broker, it sent me off on a trail of like, okay, what's a data broker?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so it was just a language understanding.
Yeah. Which I didn't know this resource existed.
Yep.
Would have solved that.
Yeah. No, it's great. I use this all the time. It's also pretty neat because like they break it out by release too. So if a word meant something in Utah, you can go and see how it's changed in Vancouver or another release. It's pretty neat.
Again, I'll probably have to bookmark this so I have it as a resource in the future.
Yep.
Okay, item number 2, guided tours. You brought this idea and introduced me to it in our Vivid Sheets kind of discovery building process. Give me a little taste of what that is.
Yeah, so we built this. We were building that new product. That meant that everybody who was going to encounter it was going to be brand new for them. So I was like, oh, okay, is there a mechanism that we can kind of help people understand, A, what this thing is used for, and B, how to actually use the thing in the way that we're describing. And I was really excited about that, to be able to walk somebody through like the different elements on the page, or for instance, you can set somebody up to complete a task or guide somebody through a task. that was going to be like that. That's still really exciting for me. When we did some digging into it, we discovered that, here's what it does, and available in Washington, D.C. However, got down to really digging into it and learned that it's currently not supported in the following areas, and it's quite a few places. So the thing that held us up was the app shell. We're using the basic app shell, which, as far as I can understand, is not supported. So yeah, we kind of had to throw that out, but I still am really excited about that as a mechanism to try to guide people through, especially if they're brand new to the platform, or even if they just encounter a new page. How can you help them get up to speed and use that thing efficiently and keep coming back to it to use it?
Yeah, you're always trying to educate your users on your product in the simplest, kind of most point in time way. Mm-hmm. Obviously, guided tours, walkthroughs, they're pretty common in a lot of products. So this would have been handy. Can you scroll back up? So you introduced this to me when we were building Vivid Sheets. Mm-hmm. Was this available in previous releases? Do they have other releases family there?
Yes, I do think there were fairly significant changes with the Washington release, though. Oh, okay. Well, this is all still here, though. So I don't know. The way that I saw it as part of like a release video for Washington. So that's what turned me on to it. Mm. It does look like there's some version of it with some functionality in Vancouver.
Yeah, and so in the community, I think people are still figuring out where and when they want to use this. Mm-hmm. I saw a conversation yesterday, someone asking about variants. In the documentation, it's it's one of the things they talk about not being supported is your variant pages. But,
variants not supported. Yep.
But anyway, it's a cool new feature. Again, something that will develop over time, and hopefully more of the support for some of these other areas will come about. Yeah,
because I think right now it is probably most useful for like the very top of the funnel, like somebody who is new to a role or new to a job and first time they're in ServiceNow, creating an incident. How are they going to do that type of stuff?
Okay, so speaking of Washington release and things that we found awesome, last week we talked about how we really, obviously, platform analytics workspaces thing that we're looking at, and just understanding how it works. We talked about the migration manager.
Yep.
Very cool, because you don't want to have to manually do that. We talked about why, we talked about that last week. So as with all things that come out kind of new, we did get a little bit of update yesterday evening, and it was a notification that maybe the migration tool wasn't working in all cases. Mm-hmm. And so, we got a note saying that there's a migration center defection notice, gives some specific versions of Washington. Let me just read it so I have the exact information. So, defect on the Platform Analytics Migration Center, instances on Now Platform, Washington, D.C., Early Access, Hotfix 1, Washington, D.C., Patch 1, and D.C. Patch 1, Hotfix 1. And basically, the way I read this is that if you activated migration, there's some things that aren't going to be working in the migration, and in fact, some of the things will be uneditable. So then it tells you what you need to do. I think for us, the purpose is just to let people know. We promoted it last week, said it's really cool.
We're still working out some stuff.
Yeah, and all these releases, you got to test it, make sure it's doing what you want.
Yep.
So anyway, just something to be aware of if you took our advice last week and started looking into that. Topic 4? Knowledge
24. Still excited. We're seeing a drip of sessions come out, people publishing sessions. Some people talking about them in the ServiceNow devs Slack channel and some other places. I don't know if they've fully published the official list of them yet, but we're starting to see some come through.
Yeah, so people will be able to also come and see us in our booth, PKZ01.
PKZ01 is our booth.
Yeah, and Our team, I think, is pretty good. Last year, we had the roulette wheel. We had some games going on. We had the dude with the sign thing going on. So I think we have a group of people that are good at engaging people. Do you have any insight to this year on what?
Yes. Yes. So I know, let me share here again. Yes, we're definitely going to be engaging people who come by, having conversations about how to embrace the lazy and use our automated reporting tools so that you don't have to do as many manual creations of anything that you want to share regarding reporting. Yep, we'll have a game that I know we're working on. And yeah, I know Mitch and Rob are also going to have a session outside of the booth, a dedicated session to talk about some of this stuff too, right?
Yep. Yeah, people will want to hear what Rob and Mitch have to say. People always want to hear what they have to say, but definitely they'll have a good presentation there. And I think we'll probably, I don't want to share anymore. I think our engagement team wants to keep some stuff a secret. So we'll leave it at embrace the lazy, and over time they'll be able to release what we mean by that.
Awesome.
So
looking forward to it.
Cool. That's it for this week.
Sounds good.
See you.
Bye.